I'd now like to introduce Tim Noble, the Managing Director of SAP UK and Ireland, as Alan puts SAP under the spotlight. So welcome him up.
Well, Tim, welcome back to Manchester. It's been a year, I think, since we were last... Well, I don't think we were sat here, we were talking here, weren't we? I'd like to sort of continue in the role of Question Master, and I'd like to ask you some of the questions which some of our members have put forward, so I'm going to read some of them out. So, the first one. This first question from our members is one that's often been the centre of much debate, licensing. Obviously, SAP is a big product set, and often the licensing complexities don't aid the exploitation of the product capabilities. So could you tell me more what SAP is doing to make its licensing both more transparent and understandable?
Certainly, and thank you. Thank you for inviting me back here, as you say, for the second year in a row. And so it's a pleasure and to see so many people here. Alan, in terms of the question, then, having been at SAP for now 18 months, I can understand some of the frustration, some of the lack of clarity. And I think really there are two ways in which we have brought, or we are bringing, clarity to the question you just asked. The first is, and actually the UK is the pilot site for this, is that we are being completely transparent in all of our software licensing and software licensing terms and conditions. And I invite you, in fact, to go onto the website, and if you go to sap.com company licenses, you will see completely transparently, all the kind of licensing terms and conditions. The second piece, and again, this is where the UK is one of the pilot sites, is that I understand that in order to become a customer of SAP, then you had to sign at least 3 or 4 different pieces of paper, and each of them was probably more complex than the first one that you just signed. And again, I'm pleased to say that, in fact, you now can sign one piece of paper. And don't worry, it's not just one piece of paper, it's 3 times as long, but it's now one piece of paper to become a customer. And then the third one, which was in reference to actually when you your kickoff, was that clearly our customers are demanding that our licensing models reflect the way they want to consume our software. So we will still clearly have a licensing model which is a kind of large upfront license, mainly for on-premise use. And then secondly, though, as we move more and more to subscription-based and business by design, for instance, then the licensing model for that is is subscription-based licensing. So really, the option is entirely up to the customer as to how they want to license with SAP.
Thanks,
so
Tim.
I hope it's clearer.
That's great, and I think it's really good as well that the UK is at the forefront of some of this. So that's brilliant.
So actually, I welcome, and if you please, everybody, if you go to kind of that website, that URL, then we would welcome your feedback as what do you think?
Excellent. Now, the second question comes from a number of members. There is often a perception that if you're not in either the US, Germany, or India, that you lose out when it comes to the latest information and capabilities of the products, along with the really in-depth knowledge that mature SAP users need. Could you let us know how within the UK and Ireland you can dispel that view?
Oh, I can dispel that view. So actually, partly, I'm not here to dispel that view. I think having big centers of excellence and having centers of expertise in the US or in India or in Germany, actually, I think can be a tremendous value to all of our customers and our future customers. And so, as I said, I'm not here to dispel it because I think it can bring tremendous value. However, the advantage of being a customer in the UK and Ireland is actually the UK and Ireland is one of the largest market units for SAP. So one of the largest customers for customer bases for SAP. And maybe a little known fact, but actually there are about 1,200 people who work for SAP based here in the UK and Ireland. And all those 1,200 people fundamentally are here to serve the needs of our customers. And so within those 1,200 people, you will find kind of all the domains and all the constituencies. So you'll find field services, you'll find people from the business units, you'll find subject matter experts. So all I would do is encourage everybody to maybe be more engaged. And again, that's a two-way thing, by the way, with SAP in the UK and Ireland, because actually it's a big, big and very important location for SAP.
So in terms of the 1200, what are the prime channels then to go through to that expertise and access that?
So I think there are a number. If you, so one, absolutely, I'd invite all of you to work with your account manager, with your account executive, to make sure that you use them as one of the primary channels for, to get access into SAP. The second is what we're doing here today, and if you go to the exhibition center, you'll see representatives from most different parts of SAP. Another thing we do is, I think this year we will hold 55 different events here in the UK. So there was World Tour back in July. We had one in Clockhouse, which was specifically for HR and HR managers. So there are a lot of events going on, and I would encourage as many of you to attend all of them, because we really are making a very conscious effort to open SAP up.
So in addition to the 50 that we do as a user group, there's another 50 that SAP do, and you can see all of those, of course, on our website. Not advertising, but that's where you'd find it.
That'd be brilliant. And I really, you know, in the last 18 months, we've been working together. Then I've made sure that actually there's a great collaboration between the user group and between SAP and the UK and Ireland. So I would, you know, absolutely encourage that.
Okay, another question now from our members about support. Everyone is aware of the SAP support offerings. These are well documented after the difficult discussions of the last couple of years. Many of our members remember the days when, based in the UK and Ireland, was a small local support team, including support for what was the Customer Competency Centre, now the CCOE. With SAP listening to more to its customers, why can't this return?
So obviously, even the panel before I got up here on stage too, there was I'm not going to repeat you know, some of the conversations and lots of the work and the hard work that SAP has done to you know, to address some of the questions. What I would say is that, again, part of going back to my answer about the UK and Ireland being such a significant part of SAP, is actually we have a big support group here in the UK. And I think we are hugely at an advantage to have such a large group. So whilst it's not necessarily specific to the UK, the fact they're based here in the UK is a tremendous advantage. So one is, you know, we do have some people based here in the UK. The second is, you know, we have tried very hard to work with our customers you know, through our academy, which I think you did a mailing to all of your users about, to work in collaboration between the UK and Ireland and your users to understand the support and also almost self-service support, so that we can encourage you locally. And the other activity that I would really encourage people to do is, again, if you go to your exhibition center here, then one of the stands that we have deliberately put here is a stand which will talk all about the services that they're offering and the enterprise support that's available and how we can work closely with our customers.
Okay, thanks, Tim. I think one sort of observation from me really is that all these questions seem to have a common theme, and that's increasing value for the users and customers of SAP. So I'm very, very aware of your value engineering teams in SAP. So how do you think SAP can get that awareness up and increase the value add by their usage?
So I spend at least half my time talking with customers, and you know, clearly the biggest question is you know, how do you maximize the value from SAP? And even in an interview that I was having this morning, then one of the conversations or the topics was that our customers are asking for increased value in a much shorter amount of time. There are almost two. I don't know if they're well hidden, but I think they could be used more. Well hidden secrets in kind of in the SAP portfolio. One is the whole value engineering group, and in fact, it was in a recent Gartner report that I read. Two kind of things stuck out in my mind. One was that I think 37% of projects, then it's never measured, or no one ever goes back to measure as to whether or not the project delivered the value that it was expecting. And the other thing that is said in the same report is that SAP has one of the richest benchmarks of thousands and thousands of data points of projects and projects and business processes that we've addressed throughout the world. So I would encourage all of you to do two things. One is, for anybody thinking about a new project, then please engage our value engineering group. And because they will do two things. One is they can, use publicly available information to really understand your business and really understand what value SAP will deliver. Then if you engage them, then clearly you share information with them. And again, we will provide, real value as to what, by implementing X, Y, and Z from SAP, what value it will deliver. So that's the first thing I would encourage everybody to do. The second is that, again, we will then go back in and help our customers understand whether or not the project has delivered the value that you anticipated it would when you set off. And actually, the third point that I want to make is we've trained some 3,500 people, I understand, in how to use our our measurements and in our whole value academy. So, I think there's a huge wealth of knowledge that's available to all our customers, from SAP. And I would really encourage you all to use it.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Tim. Thanks for being under the spotlight. I hope you didn't find that too much of a spotlight, but it's been really great. Thanks for being so open and honest. Great.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you.